Anyway, here is our grid. Jam Jar's Mercedes is on pole, but watch for Ninetales' Scion heading down towards turn 1. Invisible AK is in third place with the Megane. Impega has done miraculous things with the Focus in fourth place here. Yami here with the Mercedes back in fifth. HCR Espion in sixth. Our championship leader is a little bit buried in the pack, but likewise is second place in the championship. F1 Kieran in seventh. Great showing from Rubber Trail up in eighth with the Volkswagen Golf. 9th will go to a Blazer in the Honda Civic. It will be nice to see him and THR Mugen in the Mazda score their first points of the championship. PCG Muri could only manage 11th. The Subaru struggling here in the rain. Stevie up in 12th with the Volvo S60. Good to see the Volvo a little bit higher up. Zars in the third of the Mercedes, the Privateers, Mercedes in 13th. Der Integra in the second of the Audis, down in 14th. GTR Aston with the Vauxhall in 15th, ahead of Rare Gliscott in the Lexus. Lexus, a big heavy car, likely to struggle a little bit perhaps around this circuit. Hordes in the BMW, down in 17th. The Creator 224 in the second of the Volvos in 18th, along with LM145 with his debut at the back of the field. The race is about to get off and underway here as the Scion once again gets that brilliant launch. Watch for the Megane as well. The Megane was quick off the line. Oh, the Scion gets a huge wiggle across the puddle. He had a fantastic start, but couldn't use it with the puddle there. Jam has toward the outside of the circuit. The Scion, I think, is going to fight back on the inside down towards the next corner, mindful of the puddles. Horrible puddles around this circuit as we ride on board with the Mercedes. A lot of cars fitting into a very small piece of tarmac, and the Mercedes is out on the curb. I don't know if he brushed the grass or not. It looks like he got away with it. The Scion will lead them down the back straight. The Megane is coming. The Focus is heading down towards them as well. There's a little bit of gaps now, just enough to make it a bit difficult to have a big old dive. Of course, the Scion is a handful through the corners. We've seen it time and time again that the Scion is, oh, there's been a little bit. I think that's Kieran and Espion got into trouble down the back straight. Both of them off into the weeds. The Scion continues to fight off that Mercedes, and it will be Ninetales that is going to lead them around for lap 1. Impega is still sat behind that Renault as we we'll get some onboard shots around this particular circuit as we're heading up towards turn 1 again, mindful of the puddles around the place. You really don't want to be putting your wheels across the curb there. It is not a fun place to be. Visible AK with the Renault got all out of shape. It's looking like he might be in trouble coming down towards this next corner. The Mercedes defends the inside line through. There is a big train starting to form behind them. Now, the more that they fight, this is going to help out Ninetales no end. The more that these guys fight for position, if the Scion can make a breakaway from it, that'll be very helpful for him. Invisible AK is to the outside. That's an ambitious move. You can sometimes, if you've got the grip, hold it around the outside for that particular corner. You'll be on the inside for the next one, but in the rain it's even tougher. Still, the Renault is busy looking for a way past. You've got to be very careful doing that though, because he's going to leave the door wide open. I think that is going to be a Focus up the inside. Will he be able to get the move done? No, he couldn't. I'm surprised. I thought we were going to see the Focus come soaring up the inside. There is also some water on the inside of that particular corner, though. Might have got the Focus into a little bit of trouble as we round turn 1 once more. It's a big slide from Impega's Ford right there. The Renault was a little bit wide on his own. The Ford gets into huge trouble. I say huge trouble. He gets away with it. But, Scion's out very wide. Now, he's got to watch out for that. I think he is going to get away with it. Impega coming under increasing pressure from that Mercedes. Yeah, the Scion's got to watch out for that. While, as I said, it was a difficult car to overtake because of that sheer straight line speed. It is also a very difficult car to get through the corners. It doesn't have the best brakes, doesn't have the best grip and so on. So you can't afford to make mistakes. Any opportunity, and that Mercedes is going to be keen to pounce. Although, again, you've got to bear in mind, as keen as the Mercedes is, as much as he wants to take a victory, his main championship rivals are well down the field, or well down the order, which means he doesn't have to take any catastrophic risk. Speaking of those championship contenders, HCR Espion, we are going to ride on board with him. Zars has again done a fantastic job of making up positions as we head towards the start-finish line. Is the Subaru going to have a look? I think you're going to have a tough job going around the outside of turn 1. He's also got to, of course, contend with that Mazda up ahead. Having said that, as he is, big spin from the Mazda. I think that was curb assisted. I don't think he got a touch there. I think he was too far away to have been assisted there. That's the dangers of the curbs. That is the dangers of the curbs here at Silverstone. I will, of course, check the replays later on. But, yeah, the curbs can spit cars out sideways. That's unfortunate. Mugen was having a brilliant run. And that's a big off. That is a big, big off. I've just seen the lap time. Ninetales. Ninetales' fastest lap time is quicker than the time he did in qualifying. And that would have been, well, that would have been enough to put him on pole at 104.4. That's some serious speed in that side. Obviously, couldn't quite get it all together for a qualifying lap. There's been a change for third place. It might be changed back again at the rate these guys are going. Impega has got the focus up into third, managed to fend off that Mercedes enough to go on the offensive against the Renault, but still very, very close between these cars as once more we head into the first corner. Let's not forget, we're not even at half distance yet, as there was more the Renault's in all sorts of trouble through that first corner. You don't want to, don't want to go out that way. You really don't want to go out that way, especially not when you've got Yami in the Mercedes right behind you. He is very much looking for any opportunity. They've actually all been caught by a rubber trail with that Volkswagen. The Volkswagen that really did not have a huge amount of pace when it came to a Nürburgring is showing very, very well here, all the way up in that 6th place. Hell, if it might lose a couple of places to the likes of Espion and Kieran, but I can stay up that high in the field would be a very, very good showing. Espion, as I said, has kind of consolidated that 7th place. Likewise, Kieran up in 8th. Muri is in 9th place with the second of the Subarus. Subaru's struggling with the wet weather here. They are struggling a little bit for pace. It looks like there's a very, very big fight going on here for that 10th place. And the last of the points-paying positions. Points in this championship go down to 12th. 10th, though, will get you pole in the reverse grid. Looks like the Vauxhall of Aston hoards his BMW. Blazers lost a little bit of ground in the Civic. Not the first time we've seen the Civic qualify well and then just fall back a little bit when it came to the race. See, the Golf did a 104.7 on its previous lap around. A little bit of a bump as they go through the puddles into Beckett's. Looks like the BMW is going to get that position. The Civic keen to try and follow through on the inside if he can. He might just get the drive out. The BMW very, very slow off of the corner. May come under threat from the Vauxhall. Not very often you say that. However, the Vauxhall is looking to the outside. Are we going to see it go 3 wide? No. Blazer realises that there is not going to be space there. It is not going to last for very long at all. He's going to try and cut back to the inside. You've got to watch the puddle, though. Really got to watch that puddle. Hoards it's sliding the BMW all the way through the next corner, as I think the BMW is just going to fend off. The Vauxhall trying to go around the outside. You just lose so much time on the way in. You're probably more likely to do it in the dry than you are to be able to do that in the wet. How is it going up at the front of the field? Is Ninetales being able to run away a little bit? It's a second gap. Not the biggest gap that we have seen in this series, however, being able to just have that little bit of a safety cushion over the Mercedes. You can just get, not that you want to make a mistake, of course, but if you make just the teensiest little bit of a mistake when you've got a second gap, then that's not the worst thing possible to happen. However, yeah, you can't afford to make a big mistake. You hit a puddle awkwardly, and in these conditions it is alarmingly easy to make a very big mistake. You hit a puddle awkwardly, you end up out wide somewhere, and Pega's going to just about get away with touring the puddles. You can get big, big oversteer moments with these cars. They are not necessarily the easiest of vehicles to drive, certainly, as I said, when it is in the rain. So, got to be mindful. Got to be mindful that every time you try and get on the power, every curb you run across, you risk getting into trouble, as we saw with Mugen when he went for a big, big spin in that Mazda 3. Kieran 1:04.6 is apparently the fastest lap. I guess Ninetales may have been dirtied with cars following in his slipstream. Third place, Impega, is, I think, kind of holding station, really. This front group do seem to be setting fairly similar lap times, remaining relatively in touch with one another, not quite able to get any overtakes done as of yet. Yami up in 5th place is looking for a way past that Renault. Is he going to be able to get a move done? Well, not at that distance he isn't. The Renault's got some very, very good traction, it seems, coming down to this to this back straight. The Mercedes is way, way too far back to be having a go. You've got to be really mindful. The puddle on the inside at that particular corner is one of the nastiest sort of smallest puddles, if that makes a huge amount of sense. If you kind of carry a bit too much speed across it, it fires your car out wide, and then there is a really big puddle on the outside that your car gets stuck in, and you just lose all of your time, and you're slithering and sliding your way around the place. So you kind of want to attack the puddle because it's on the normal racing line, but you've got to be really mindful. If you hit it too hard, you end up getting fired a little bit wide. The Golf is holding on in 6th, actually holding on very, very well in 6th place. Is not really catching up to the Mercedes. However, more importantly, it isn't really being caught by the Subaru of Espion that is currently sat in 7th place. Let's not forget, that is our championship leader. HCR Espion is leading the way. He's only a couple of points over F1 Kieran, who is parked behind him. However, Jamjar's in 3rd, only 11 points down on our series leader. And this would make for, if the race finished as it is now, it would make for one hell of a tense final race. As we, again, head through this next corner, you see that puddle. Espion running a little bit more on the curb, trying to avoid that. Oh, it almost gets a big twitch. That was the nasty puddle I was talking about on the exit of the corner. You end up out across that. Espion only just grazed the puddle, but it was enough. It's enough to tip the car slightly sideways. Cost him a little bit of time, and Kieran is sniffing around looking for a way past. Problem is, the Audi can get off the corners very well. He can carry great speed through the corners. It might be lacking just a little bit of straight line speed on the Subaru, which means every time we get to a braking zone, Espion can be just that little bit further down the road as Kieran gets himself into trouble across the curbs at turn 1 and is out wide. Yeah, Espion can just get far enough away to make it very, very difficult for Kieran to do too much about him. Now, in terms of the big old battle for 10th, it looks like Muri has pulled away, is sort of shadowing the Audi a little bit. Zars has consolidated his 10th place. In fact, actually, Zars is starting to catch by the looks of it. The Subaru, we still got a big old fight going on over 11th and 12th place. Yeah, looks like it is. The Civic dropped back a little bit from this group. The Vauxhall would currently still be holding the last of the points paying position. BMW actually of Hordes has done well, started well down the order. We do tend to see the BMW qualified poorly and then claw his way up through the races. If we can make up one more place and get into the top 10, reverse grid, the BMW has done so incredibly well. In reverse grid races, BMW has scored some serious points, actually not too badly at all in the championship, primarily because of the second race points. Is the Vauxhall going to have a look into turn 1? It isn't close enough. It's such a horrible braking area into turn 1. It's this tiny braking zone where there's also a horrendous puddle on the inside. So trying to go for a dive up the inside into that first corner is a sketchy at best kind of a moment running in towards the next corner we go. It's all sort of a little bit status quo at the moment in this race. It did look like the gaps at the front are starting to close. Just a smidge, I say just a smidge, yeah, it's starting to get a little bit closer at the front here. Timid Ninetails still leading the way with that Scion. Jamjar Hastings in 2nd, actually starting to come under threat for that 2nd place. Impega's Ford is looking for a way past again. As I mentioned earlier, these two start fighting, that really, really helps the Scion of Ninetails. The more that these two squabble for position, the more that the Scion can run in, well, relatively clean air and not have to worry about defending. Oh, as I say that, no! The curse of the commentator has struck, or the curse of the curbs. That is a big, big spin for the side. Now, he will recover it. He can get it going. He's fallen down to a 6th place. That is not the sight that Espion will have wanted to see. The TC having, well, spun round. Not only has it given Jamjar Hastings the lead, it's also dumped the TC directly in front of the Subaru. Oh, that's disappointing. The Scion was looking so good around this circuit. He's going to be able to fend off against that Subaru with the superior straight line speed, but yeah, that's a shame. It's the danger you run. You really do not want to touch the curbs around this circuit because, well, we've seen it twice already. Cars have been caught out, and now the Scion is coming under huge, huge pressure from the Subaru. The Impreza is going to get to the inside here, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold it. I think he's just going to get out-dragged. He's also going to be stuck across that puddle, which is not where you want to be at all. He has gone for it. He's braved it across there as they go side by side across the start-finish line. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one into turn 1. Now, Espion needs every place that he can get here if he's going to keep in touch with Jamjar Hastings. Mercedes, they run through the first corner. The Scion is out across the curb. Still they go side by side. I think the Subaru might have finally got it. Yep, the Scion doesn't want to dive across the puddle. He will lift out of that one and have to concede the position. And now he's got the joys of fighting off the Audi of Kieran. Something has gone on up towards the front while we were watching that. Impega has dropped back. I'm guessing went for an overtake and made a mistake. Yeah, you can see his last lap time was a 107. I think, yeah, maybe trying to go around the outside or caught a puddle awkwardly. Maybe, hell, maybe even he had issues with a curb at some point. He has dropped all the way back to second place. That has, in turn, looked like it slowed down the Renault a little bit. They're all very much. This is for the for the podium positions. The McGann going to have a look up the inside. Yami wants to try and buy into this one. This is good news in terms of the teams championship for the H2H Racing Mercedes. It looks like the Renault might actually get the move done as Impega's off across the curb. He does keep it all together. We're going to see another 2 wide in at turn 1. Will McGann get it stopped? Yeah, they're both going to run a little bit wide. They're both on inopportune lines through there. The Mercedes is going to be closing rapidly. There's just nowhere to use it, especially in the wet, because you can't dive. I say you can't dive to the inside. It looks like the Mercedes is going to have a go, but he's going to hit the puddle. He's likely to get carted wide through the next corner. Mercedes is not giving up, though. The Mercedes is really not giving up on trying to get that third place. Heading down the back straight we go. Has the McGann. Now, McGann hasn't got enough speed to get an overlap to get himself back into a position. Looks like Yami will have a big go up the inside and make the pass stick. Yeah, I think the McGann is going to have to yield. Again, with that huge puddle on the outside, you just can't run. You can't run all of the track. I say you can't. You can try it, but you'll end up in trouble if you do. And that will have dropped AK down to a 4th place. Oh, it's all kicking off with 5 laps to go. Rubber Trail is sitting in a brilliant 5th place at the moment with that Golf. Espion is now, having got the move done on the side, is now coming under increasing pressure from that TC as we run into the first corner. Kieran dropped back a little bit from this group. Again, might have gone for an overtaking attempt on the side and lost a little bit of speed. He is down in 8th place. The side all thinks about it, but again, he can't get on the inside. He can't get alongside because of the puddle. Kieran sort of got the watching brief at the moment. Hordes has actually got some speed going on in that BMW. He's pulled away from the Vauxhall. He's up in 11th place and starting to close on the Mercedes. As I said, watch out for the BMW. If he does manage to sneak his way into the top 10, has done incredible stuff with those reverse grids. Zars Mercedes, another one that has tended to gain plenty of positions. Not a good qualifying for the Mercedes. Having said that, we're going to go a little bit exploring, a bit wide through in the next corner. But yeah, has done some very, very good drives. It looks like the final points paying position still being held onto by the Vauxhall. Blazes Honda, unfortunately, again, great qualifying, has just struggled in the race. Dropped down to a 15th place at the moment. Not completely out of contention with at least with some close racing, and you certainly never know what's going to happen when it comes to the curbs around this circuit. Right, back to the front of the field with 3 laps remaining. Jamjar Hastings does have a rather comfortable lead as one of the Lexus. I think a Lexus and a Volvo may have got tangled together at some point. I saw a Volvo in the pit lane. Lexus is now a lap down, so they probably sustained damage and had to take a trip through the pit lane. We may have got into trouble separately. I am not sure on that one, but yeah, Jamjar does lead the field. Let's just have a look at what were the gaps last time around. 3.3 seconds over Impega's Ford. That's a big gap to try and make up. You've got to be trying to do a second a lap there if you were to close that gap. And not only, one thing is to catch them, but to try and get past them. I think that's going to be a tall order, unless, of course, Jam gets into issues with the curbs. On these last 3 laps, you really don't want to be taking your luck. You don't want to be running across the curbs. And indeed, the Mercedes runs up to the white line and nothing more. That is that is the way to do it when you've only got this small number of laps to go. Don't go doing anything stupid. Impega has got a little bit more of a comfortable second place now. It seems the Mercedes of Yami just not quite able to live with him. I think the Ford is a slightly quicker car here. I think the Ford could potentially have overhauled Jam's Mercedes, but were it not for what I imagine was a small mistake, it dropped him back and is just going to run out of laps to do anything about them. AK still clinging on to that 4th place, still doing a very, very solid job with the Renault. Likewise, the Golf is within this group. I mean, this group is starting to close up a little bit, although big slide from the Volkswagen, very big slide, all out of shape from Rubber Trailcast. The commentator has struck once more. It was allowed Ninetales to catch up, and the Scion is going to be looking for a little bit of redemption, looking for a way past this Volkswagen as they head down towards the start-finish line. Scion not quite able to draw alongside. And the TC has got a lot of speed around this circuit. It looks like it might be another day where the TC is one of the quickest cars here, but just for some bad luck, a little bit of misfortune, an inopportune moment across a curb, and, oh god, the Volkswagen is playing that one very, very dangerous. Having seen what has befallen at least 2 cars, to be fair, the incident with the Volvo and the Lexus could well have been one spinning on a curb and another collecting him at an awkward angle. Yeah, you really got to be... Got to be confident in your car if you want to be running across the curves. Volkswagen a little bit wide out of Beckett's. Here comes the Scion down the back straight. Volkswagen got a decent enough turn of speed, got to say. The Golf has is not slow in a straight line as we head into the big braking zone. Will the Scion brave it out? We're going to see a pass around the outside. We haven't seen one done yet today. That is a brilliant, brilliant positioning from the Scion, but he's got to run across the puddle and lose all of that speed. Still, though, he is there, still on the inside with that TC. Can he out-drag the Volkswagen down towards the start-finish line? There's another puddle to worry about on the inside. Will he have lifted and fall back into line? No, he won't. He's still going for it. The Volkswagen is a little bit caught out, a little bit of understeer from the Golf out wide. He does, though, still get... I think the Scion might have lifted to avoid the puddle to let him back in. I know the Scion felt he pushed him a tad wide. Oh, the side has got a lap to do it in. The side has got a lap to try and make a pass stick. Just briefly, we'll have a look back at the tail end of the top 10. Zars is still holding on to that one. Muri in 9th. Hortz has fallen back in the BMW. It's actually under a little bit of threat from the Vauxhall. To the front of the field we head, though, for Jamjar Hastings. A 3.2 second gap, 3.3 second gap back to Impega's Ford. Very, very evenly matched. I'm not sure the Mercedes quite had the car speeds to find a way past the Scion. However, the TC put a wheel across the curve, asked too much of that vehicle. A big slide out of the final corner from the Mercedes. Very, very big slide from the Mercedes. However, as we are drifting our way across the finish line, it is a huge win for Jamjar Hastings. Impega takes second. Yami will claim third. Will Ninetales be able to take fifth away from the Volkswagen? He can't quite do it. The Volkswagen will get great race from Rubber Trail to get fifth with the Volkswagen. Sixth for Ninetales. Seventh will go to Espion. Eighth to Kieran. So big news in terms of the championship. That's a big change around for positions. It looks like Blazer might have got the Audi and the Volvo. Not quite sure on that one, where we just couldn't quite jump my camera to them in time. We'll see it when it kind of scrolls through on the ticker. Did Blazer manage to get a 13th place? He did. Only just. Look at the gaps between those. Blazer managing to hold on to 13th against the Audi of Integra and Stevie's Volvo. Mugen was the other big loser in terms of the curbs. The Mazda going for a spin when it was running well inside the top 10. Oh, well. That is a... I mean, it was a crucial race. It was always going to be a penultimate race. All of the races are crucial. But with both Espion and Kieran struggling here, neither of those cars look particularly fast in qualifying. Neither of them really able to make much progress through the field. And Jam managing to take an all-important victory. It is all to play for. It is all to play for. There is one more race. There is one more race to go. And a reverse grid, which will mean that Kieran is going to be the highest starting of the lot of them, but we've got to keep an eye out for that Scion. I don't know quite where the driver tire is going. The Civic is going to be doing some exploration around in the sand. Good old driver. I don't think the Civic particularly wants to... Maybe this is the problem. The Civic's bought a rallycross car. Is that the issue we've got? We had the Lexus with the invisible wheels last time. Now Honda have bought a rallycross car, or a car that wants to be a rallycross car when it should be trying to be a touring car. Oh dear. Well, there we go. I'll give you a full rundown of the order once we have got back into the lobby. Okay, here we go. Previous race. It is indeed Jamjar Hastings that will take victory for the Mercedes. Impega in the Focus will claim second, and I think fastest lap. I'm just trying to see where the Scion got lap time-wise. Certainly of the cleaned laps, Impega got the fastest, 104.3. Some serious speed from these cars. Yami in third. Good day for the H2H Racing Mercedes. Invisible AK in fourth. Fantastic drive from Rubber Trail with that Golf. Struggled a little bit at Nürburgring, but that is a brilliant performance. The Scion desperately unlucky with a big spin off a curb, but still gets decent points in sixth. Espion claims seventh, our championship leader, but does manage to beat Kieran. PTG Muri will get ninth. Subaru's really struggling in the rain. Zars in 10th will start from pole in the reverse grid race. Some good gains from that Mercedes. Likewise, good gains from Hordes in the BMW. Aston gets the final of the points paying positions with the Vauxhall in 12th. Blazer holds on to 13th place just from Der Integra's Audi and Stevie's Volvo. THR Mugen, again, another one very unlucky with the nasty curbs. LM in his debut with the Golf would get 17th ahead of Glisko and the Creator that I believe got into some sort of trouble fairly early on in the race. So, on to the championship standings, and it is, well, even closer than ever. Just 6 points separate the top three as Jamjar Hastings will take the lead with the Mercedes, 3 points clear of HCR Espion, who in turn is 3 points clear of the Audi of Kieran. It is, going to be a very close final race. Yami is up into fourth place, is just 8 points clear of Impega's Ford. Ninetails is in sixth place, does jump ahead of Sheep's Subaru. Unfortunately, Sheep unable to take part in this round along with Demon's Honda. PTG Muri struggling with that Subaru. Scored a couple of points, not massive points though here. Invisible AK would gets a decent finish with the Renault to equal his teammate tally of points. Further down, Hordes with the BMW is in 12th place ahead of Stephen Magnus Scirocco. Zars again keeps his points total ticking along and would jump ahead of Rare Gliska's Lexus. Aaron McGrath with the Bosch Scion in 16th. Again, Aaron and Shaq both unable to take part in this final round, so not going to be scoring any points from them, hoping that other cars don't score more than they have already. Integra in 18th with the Audi. Rubber Trail, a fantastic drive with the Golf to score his first points of the championship. And fifth place is certainly not bad going at all. We'll put him up into a 19th place ahead of Language. GTR Aston with the Vauxhall will score a point to move him ahead of the Creator and Stevie with the two Axis Bank Volvos. That, though, is going to be it for the penultimate race of the Turbo Tourers. It is all very much to play for in the final round. The rain proved to be eventful, but plenty of very close racing despite rather difficult climatic conditions. That'll be it from me, though. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.